Okay, here we are. Hi everybody. We got a little bit to finish up here and we'll have this all set. Y equals cotangent of x plus 1. Okay, so the period is still pi here. We have no, the period stays as pi. A is 1. Need to keep that in mind. And anything else I don't know of that we really need to worry about, other than there is a vertical shift here of 1 unit. Okay, so let's get and it occurred to me, if you turn the page over, we did need to do 2 periods. I'm not going to go back to it, but do keep that in mind that the instructions asked for 2 periods. So I'm going to actually draw a cotangent function, and it starts at 0 to pi. Those are asymptotes, and it starts low and ends high. No, it doesn't. It starts high and ends low. And if I mark this point right here is pi over 2. This is pi over 4. And this is 3 pi over 4. And at pi over 4 we hit the 1. And at 3 pi over 4 we hit the negative 1 down there. But we're shifting everything up a unit. So I'm going to put 2 here and shift that up to 2. I'm going to put that point there, and I'm going to put this point on the axis because I'm going up, I'm shifting it up a unit. And then I'm just going to draw like we would normally. Okay. And there in red is our pretty little final moved, shifted answer. All right. Number 13, y equals secant of 2x. I'm going to first graph y equals cosine of 2x. And y equals cosine of 2x is let's see. Let's deal with the period. The period is 2 pi over 2. So the period is pi. Amplitude is 1. There is no shifting in this one. No vertical. Amplitude is 1. So I'm going to graph that first. Oh, shoot. Okay. I'm remembering. That's pi. I'll put 2 pi here. And I'll put that point, and that point, and that point, and make our thing. I did forget to do a second. So 2 pi, this is 3 pi over 2. 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4. This is 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4. This is 7 pi over 4. Okay, forgot to make a second, just like I did on the previous problem. So just keep that in mind. That's 2 periods of the graph. And we don't need to shift it twice. We just rewrite that version there. All right. Now, back to this. I'm going to graph y equals cosine of 2x. And it starts up here, goes down here, comes back up here. And since we're doing 2 periods, let's keep this in mind because that's where I want to write pi. Let's go ahead and do another period here. All right. And this would be 2 pi here. And, oh, I should have left more room on top of it. Okay. This is pi over 2. This is pi over 4. And this is 2 pi over 4. This is 3 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4. 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4, which is 3 pi over 2. 7 pi over 4. And 8 pi over 4, which I wrote as 2 pi. So we're good there. Now for secant, you cannot divide by 0. So I am going to put an asymptote every time it hits the x-axis. I'm putting an asymptote in here. And now we come up here and we get close. Bring it to the asymptote. We hit the peak and get close to the asymptote. Here we hit it right here and we get close to the asymptote. The answer is in red. The answer is not in blue. The blue is our guideline for writing these red curves. And right there. Okay. That is that one. Now, bleeding over from the other side, but we're going to hang in there. We're going to write y equals 2 cosecant of x. And I'm going to draw this and this. I'm going to make my amplitude 2. So I'm graphing y equals 2 sine of x. And we'll come up. So I'm drawing a sine curve. There's one. We are supposed to do 2 periods, so I'll draw another period here. And I'll label. Here's 2 pi here. It's a regular sine curve. This is 4 pi. 4 pi. Man, oh man. And here's 0. This is pi. This is pi over 2. 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 4 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2, 6 pi over 2 is 3 pi, 7 pi over 2, and 8 pi over 2. All right. Once again, cosecant, we cannot divide by 0, so we are putting asymptotes where sine is 0, because this is 1 divided by sine, or 2 divided by sine on this one. Oops. Okay, while I'm thinking about it, this is 1, this is negative 1. This is 2, the amplitude is 2, this is negative 2. All right. Sorry about that. I'm thinking of things after the fact. Here is vertical asymptotes all through here. All right. Draw this curve. Draw this curve. The red is the answer, not the blue. The blue is the guideline for drawing the red. That's what it's good for right now. Helps us get the final answer. The red is the answer. And that is done, my class. So we will get this uploaded and for your viewing pleasure.